Hello children. Today I am going to explain you the basic properties of amines. There are two types of amines, aliphatic amines as well as aromatic amines. And as you know that amines are the basic substances. The very first chemical property of amines is like these basic organic compounds come in contact with mineral acids and they form amine salts. Next, you have another important property, nucleophilic substitution reactions, which include alkylation as well as acetylation. And after alkylation and acetylation, we move on to very important property which distinguishes primary as well as secondary and tertiary amines, that is carbyl amine test. In this carbyl amine test, you have an important reagent, namely isocyanide reagent, that is chloroform and KOH, which gives foul smelling or irritating offensive odor compounds, namely isocyanides. So this carbyl amine test helps you in distinguishing primary amines as well as secondary and tertiary amines. The next property, we move on to nitrous acid. With this nitrous acid, diazotization takes place only with primary amines, and this is also one of the important tests which can distinguish aliphatic and aromatic amines. Aliphatic amines form diazonium salts with nitrous acid, but they're by hydrolysis, evolution of nitrogen takes place, but that evolution of nitrogen is not seen with aromatic amines. Next, we move on to Hinsberg reagent, that is benzene sulfonyl chloride, which distinguishes primary, secondary as well as tertiary amines. So there you will be getting a white color precipitate which is soluble with which is formed with primary amines, and the white precipitate which is formed with the secondary amines is insoluble, as well as tertiary amines it doesn't form, like benzene sulfonyl chloride do not react with tertiary amines. And then last, electrophilic substitution reactions, and this electrophilic substitution reactions include bromination, nitration as well as sulfonation. Here is a flow chart. As I tell you always, chemical properties. The first one, basic character, alkylation, acetylation, carbyl amine test, nitrous acid test, Hinsberg reagent as well as bromination, nitration and sulfonation, which are electrophilic substitution reactions. So here first you have to remember the reagents. How do you remember the reagent? Basic characters here, like these amines are NH2 or ARNH2, they come in contact with HX. HX in the sense mineral acids, then salts are formed. So you will be getting amine salts or anilinium salt. Then alkylation, here RNH2, they undergoes nucleophilic substitution reaction, just like how we have done in embonolysis, the second preparation method. You will be getting here like 2 degree, 3 degree R2NH. You will be getting R3N as well as R4NX. This is like an amine salt. Then coming to acetylations, RNH2, these amines are treated with acetyl chloride, that is like CH3C double bond OCl, or it can be made to react with acetic anhydride, CH3CO twice O. In that way, this acetyl, in the sense ethanol chloride, you will be getting amines. Okay, so these amines, on treating with acetyl chloride, they will be giving you amines. In the same way, just like acetylation, you also have benzoylation. Then you have carbyl amine test, where RNH2 is made to react with CHCl3, that is chloroform and KOH. So here only 1 degree amines they give, and isocyanides are formed. Isocyanides are the organic compounds where the functional group is NC. If it is CN, we call it as nitrite, but if it is NC, we call it as isocyanide. Now here nitrous acid, you know that you are familiar with this nitrous acid, that is sodium nitrite is dissolved in hydrochloric acid. You will be getting a reagent, namely HNO2, nitrous acid. Then you will be getting RN2Cl, which we call it as a diazotization, and again on hydrolysis you will be getting ROH and N2. So here plus H2O. This is just simply I'm telling. In detail I'll be explaining you. Now coming to the next one, Hinsberg reagent. I said the reagent is like benzene sulfonyl chloride. That is the reagent. So here 1 degree as well as 2 degree amines, they react with benzene sulfonyl chloride, C6H5SO2Cl. Okay, then they'll be giving you precipitates. Next, bromination, nitration and sulfonation. These are the electrophilic substitution reaction. First of all, the rate of electrophilic substitution reaction is very high in aniline, but that activation is little bit reduced by first of all converting it into acetanilide, and then that acetanilide is treated with the required reagent, namely bromine or nitric acid nitration mixture or sulfonation mixture, such that the desired monosubstituted anilines are obtained. Okay, we'll go in detail with every property. The first property of amines, as I tell you, that these amines are basic in nature. So you can take an aliphatic amine or aromatic amine, and these come in contact with mineral acids like hydrogen chloride, HCl, or like any mineral acid, and they give us amine salts. What are these amine salts? Amine salts are inorganic, like they have certain polarity, and they are soluble in water. That is a major important thing which you have to remember. Amines are insoluble in water, but amine salts are soluble in water. And the basic character of amines is also judged with certain factors, namely inductive effect, pKb value, as well as you have solvation effect and steric hindrance. These all four factors, they subtly interplay with each other, and there are definitely certain order of explaining or determining the basic nature of methanamines as well as ethanamines. Okay, first of all, initially we see how these amine salts are formed. So I'm taking an aliphatic amine, namely RNH2. This is the way how you represent, and we also call these amines as Lewis bases, as nitrogen is possessing a lone pair of electron. This RNH2 comes in contact with a mineral acid HX, such that this is acidic in nature and this is basic in nature. You will be getting RNH3X, where N attains a positive charge and X attains a negative charge. So this is an amine salt. We call this as an amine salt. So looking at this equation, we can easily say that these are basic in nature. These organic compounds where NH2 functional group is present are basic in nature. In the same way, we can take aniline or benzamine, that is C6H5NH2. We call this as an aniline or benzamine. This is one of the example for aromatic amine. This comes in contact again with HX, such that here you can see NH3X. This is an anilinium salt. Anilinium salt. So in this way, we can easily prove that these amines, both aliphatic as well as aromatic amines, they come in contact with mineral acids and they form amine salts. And here, just now I told you that pKb value. What is pKb value? So this is nothing but basic dissociation constant. This basic dissociation constant of amine should be very low, then the strength of the base is very high. So Kb values should be higher, pKb values should be lower. And with the effect like that inductive effect also, it also interplays with the basic nature of these amines, and solvation effect as well as steric hindrance also judges the strength of the amine, right? The next property is alkylation. Just like in M analysis, haloalkanes or alkyl halides are added or undergoing nucleophilic substitution reactions with the amines. So here I am taking an amine RNH2. In this RNH2, RNH being a nucleophile and H plus is removed. So this RNH2 comes in contact with haloalkane or alkyl halide, where halide ion is the nucleophile. Now this halide ion is being substituted by this RNH minus, which is a nucleophile. So amines act as a nucleophile. So what is happening here? There are two R groups. So here R2NH is formed. So this R2NH is a 2 degree amine. In the before case, this is 1 degree amine. You can see here N is directly connected to only one carbon, so we call it as a 1 degree amine. But after coming in contact with an RH, another R is also added, which is undergoing nucleophilic substitution reaction. You are obtained with 2 degree amine. This 2 degree amine still acts as a nucleophile. It undergoes another nucleophilic substitution reaction with RH, where again an X minus is being substituted by this amine. You will be getting R3N. This R3N is a 3 degree amine. And here this tertiary amine also acts as a nucleophile because it is having a lone pair of electrons. So it again comes in contact with another RX. So again a halide ion is nucleophilic, is undergoing nucleophilic substitution reaction, such that you will be getting R4N here X. N, because it loses its lone pair of electron, it attains a positive charge, and X gets a negative charge. So we call this as a quaternary amine salt or 4 degree amine salt. So in all the cases, minus HX, minus HX, minus HX. That is, a hydrogen halide is eliminated. So this is alkylation. In this alkylation, you will be getting 1 degree amine. Comes in contact with an RX. You will be getting 2 degree amine, 3 degree amine, as well as a quaternary amine salt. Now, the next important property is acetylation, which is very, very important in the view of CBSE board. This acetylation aliphatic amines or aromatic amines, they come in contact with acetyl chloride, that is acid chloride or ethanoyl chloride, CH3C double bond OCl. Or it can also come in contact with acetic anhydride, that is CH3CO twice O. So this acetylation mechanism is very important, which I am going to explain you now. So here I am taking C2H5NH2. This is, we call this as ethanamine. This ethanamine now comes in contact with ethanoyl chloride or acid chloride, or acyl chloride or acetyl chloride, anything is same. CH3C double bond OCl. This acetylation is done in the presence of pyridine, which is a base, right? So in this mechanism, you have to observe the movement of electrons, that is how they are displaced. Now first of all, this is moving up such that O gets a minus charge and C gets a positive charge. Immediately here this molecule comes in contact like this, such that here I am writing C, please everyone, C2H5N. I am writing those two hydrogens above and below, but the lone pair has been taken or connecting this species. C single bond O minus, and here you have Cl and here you have CH3. This is an intermediate compound that is formed. But here, because N has lost its lone pair, I am arranging a positive charge. Now displacement takes place. What are they? How is that done? Now look at this. Here, first of all, if this chloride is coming out in the form of an Cl minus chloride ion, breaking the bond, then C attains a positive charge. And when the C attains a positive charge, to nullify the positive charge, here there is a charge on the oxygen. That charge comes out and it forms a double bond in between oxygen and carbon. And you observe a positive charge on the nitrogen. And nitrogen being electronegative, if it has a positive charge, immediately the adjacent bond is broken and that bond is converted into a lone pair of electrons, such that this hydrogen comes out in the form of H plus. So here I am circling, this comes out in the form of H plus and Cl comes out in the form of Cl minus. So this is the thing what is happening there, such that what is after the displacement of all the electrons and the bonds here, C2H5N, I'm writing one hydrogen here, and because the bond is broken and the bond is supplied again back to the nitrogen in the form of lone pair, I have put two dots and then C. Here I said the negative charge is now converted into a bond such that C double bond O is obtained, and then here the chloride ion went out and here you will be getting CH3. Children, once you have to check the valency of carbon, check whether the valency is tetravalent or not. Now this H plus and Cl minus, they come out in the form of HCl. So this is the compound. This compound is written like this: C2H5NH C double bond O CH3, right? So here, how do we write? Here you can see C double bond O and H, an amide is formed. So here an amine is treated with an acid chloride such that amide is formed. Amide is another organic compound where the functional group is C double bond O and H2, right? So here to this N, what is connected? Ethyl group is connected. So the name would be N-ethyl. And this amide is consisting of two carbons. So when there are two carbons, you call it as N-ethyl ethanamide. Ethanamide. So this is one of the important mechanism which is asked usually. So an amine, when it is treated with an acid chloride, especially acetylation acetyl chloride, here an amide is formed. In this case, I have taken ethanamide, so N-ethyl ethanamide is active. Now here, a 2-degree amine is taken. In the same way, just like before, an amide is produced. But here, what is the IUPAC name of the amide that is obtained when a secondary amine is treated with acetyl chloride? So first of all, let us write the name of this amine. The amine name is N-ethyl. N, put a hyphen here. N-ethyl, because here one ethyl group is taken as a substituent. N-ethyl ethanamine. This is the name. And this N-ethyl ethanamine is treated with ethanol chloride. Here also remove this hydrogen and chlorine minus HCl. So in the before case I explained you the mechanism. Here I am just writing. Now we will be writing the amide C2H5N as it is. You write down. Here you have a lone pair. Then you have to connect this C double bond O CH3. So this is the compound that is obtained. Here, what would be the name of this? So here, amine and amide both are present. So C double bond O and H2 amide is given more preference, and these ethyl groups become the substituent. So N comma N, put a hyphen. As there are two ethyl groups, we need to write diethyl. And C and C, there are two carbons, so we call it as ethanamide. So the name of the amide that is obtained here when N-ethyl ethanamide is taken is N comma N diethyl ethanamide. In acetylation, acetyl chloride is taken, and in benzoylation, benzoyl chloride is taken. C6H5 C double bond OCl is the formula of benzoyl chloride. Now you can take any type of amine, and these amines are treated with benzoyl chloride. We call the process as benzoylation. So here I am taking an amine CH3NH2. We call this as methanamine. So I took a very lower and 1 degree amine, methanamine. This is treated with benzoyl chloride C6H5 C double bond O Cl. This is the structure. You can also write down the formula COCl. This is called benzoyl. We call this as benzoyl chloride. Just like acetyl chloride, this is benzoyl chloride. This is obtained from benzoic acid. When benzoic acid is treated with thionyl chloride, you will be getting benzoyl chloride. So here this is also done in the presence of a base. Remove this chlorine and one of the hydrogen, such that you will be getting CH3N. You will just write down H, and here C double bond O, like that. So this is the compound that is obtained here. What would be the name of this? The name of this is N-methyl. See, you can see N-methyl, N with a hyphen, methyl, and we call this as benzamine. This is benzene. This is called benzoylation. N-methyl benzamine. The next important test is carbylamine test, which is a distinguishing test to distinguish primary as well as secondary amines. In this case, both aliphatic amines as well as aromatic amines, they react with chloroform in the presence of potassium hydroxide, concentrated potassium hydroxide. Then a new compound is formed, namely isocyanide or carbylamines with NC, right? And these are poisonous compounds even, right? Here I'm taking RNH2, or you can also take ARNH2. So the test is possible with both aliphatic and aromatic amines, but the condition is only 1 degree. Remember, only 1 degree amines, they give positive. Test with the carbylamine reagent. So these, they come in contact with chloroform. The formula of chloroform is CHCl3, and in the presence of potassium hydroxide, concentrated potassium hydroxide. Then, see, you can see here there are two hydrogens. These two hydrogens are gone, and you will be getting RNC or ARNC. These are isocyanides, aliphatic isocyanides or aromatic isocyanides, or carbyl amines. We also call them as carbyl amines, right? And here there are 3 moles of potassium hydroxide that are used, such that here we will be getting KCl plus H2, and here 3 and 3. Okay, so these carbyl amines are also called as isocyanides, and these isocyanides are foul smell compounds or offensive. The order is not comfortable, offensive order. And these are possible, like carbyl amines or isocyanides are possible only with primary amines. So 2 degree as well as 3 degree amines, they do not react. No reaction. Plus CHCl3 and KOH, no reaction. This is very important reaction, or this is very important test which helps in distinguishing primary amines as well as secondary amines. The next test is with reaction with nitrous acid, sodium nitrite in HCl. You will be getting HNO2. Both aliphatic amines as well as aromatic amines, they come in contact with HNO2, and disonium salts are obtained. Now, the disonium salts that are obtained by aliphatic amines are not stable. They undergo hydrolysis immediately and they evolve nitrogen gas. But in the case of aromatic amines, they do not evolve nitrogen gas. This is one of the important distinguishing feature. Right. So here you can see RNH2, that is it's an aliphatic amine or alkyl amine. So when this alkyl amine is treated with disonium, NaNO2 plus HCl, a disonium chloride is formed. You can write RN2Cl. This is also called as alkyl disonium chloride. This process is called diazotization. But this is an unstable and it undergo hydrolysis immediately and evolve here. It is decomposed to ROH, that is an alcohol is produced and nitrogen gas is evolved. This is the important property, and of course you can write X. This evolution of nitrogen gas is one of the important feature here when it reacts with nitrous acid. Now in the case of aromatic amines, these aromatic amines also react with nitrous acid to form ArN2Cl. This is benzene diammonium chloride, and along with that you will be getting NaCl and H2O. Here you can understand that evolution of nitrogen is not done with aromatic amines, but with aliphatic amines nitrogen gas is evolved. The next important test is with Hinsberg reagent. What is Hinsberg reagent? Hinsberg reagent is benzene sulfonyl chloride, C6H5SO2Cl. So this benzene sulfonyl chloride is a very important reagent which can distinguish 1 degree, 2 degree and 3 degree amines. It may be an aliphatic amine or aromatic amine. 1 degree amines give a white color precipitate which are soluble in an alkali. And 2 degree amines also give white precipitate, but those white precipitates are insoluble in alkali. Then coming to tertiary amines do not react and they never give any type of precipitate. So here we go, written Hinsberg reagent C6H5SO2Cl, and this is the structure of Hinsberg reagent. Benzene sulfonyl chloride, the common name or the name of this Hinsberg reagent is benzene sulfonyl chloride. Now we will be taking a 1 degree amine. I am taking C2H5NH2. This is ethanamine. This ethanamine, when it comes in contact with benzene sulfonyl chloride, see, look at the way how I will be writing. Yes, double bond O, and Cl. So in this case, so remember in such a way, remove one hydrogen here and remove chlorine. And here what is formed? C2H5N. I have removed one hydrogen, so I'll put just one hydrogen and the lone pair of electrons on the nitrogen. And wherever you take away the species, that bond should be connected to the amine. So here yes, double bond O, and the remaining part of the molecule like this. So this is the compound that is obtained here. But here this is a white precipitate and the name of this precipitate is N. So I'm just putting N here. This ethyl group is the substituent and N, put a hyphen, ethyl, N-ethyl sulfonamide. And also benzene is there, N-ethyl benzene sulfonamide. So this is the compound, and this compound is a white color. It is obtained in the form of white precipitate. But this white precipitate is soluble in an alkali. Here you can see there is one hydrogen. This hydrogen is called as acidic hydrogen. We call it as acidic hydrogen. This compound, because of the presence of acidic hydrogen, this compound is soluble in an alkali. Alkali like potassium hydroxide or sodium hydroxide. This is the important reaction of 1 degree amine with benzene sulfonyl chloride. Now what happens if I take a 2 degree amine? So here I will be taking C2H5NH. So I call this as a 2 degree amine. So N-ethyl ethanamine. So in the before case, I just took ethanamine. This is ethanamine, which we consider it as an 1 degree amine. And the second 2 degree amine is N-ethyl ethanamine. This N-ethyl ethanamine is now made to react with, again, benzene sulfonyl chloride, S double bond O, Cl. In this case also, just like before, I'm removing this H and this Cl, right? So a compound is formed, C2H5, N, C2H5, yes, double bond O, double bond O. This is the structure of the compound. But in this case, this is also a white PPT, white precipitate. But here you cannot see, you can't see any acidic hydrogen that is left here because it is a secondary amine. So this white PPT is insoluble. So first of all, let us write the name. Here two ethyl groups are there. So N, N, diethyl, put a hyphen here, N, N, so these two are the substituents, N, N, diethyl, benzene sulfonamide. Okay, so here this white precipitate is insoluble in alkali. So this is the way how you will be distinguishing the 1 degree amine and 2 degree amine with Hinsberg reagent. And coming to a 3 degree, the reaction of a 3 degree amine with benzene sulfonyl chloride, there is no reaction because there are no hydrogens which can be replaced or eliminated. So here I'll be taking C2H5, N, again I write C2H5 and C2H5. So this is a 3 degree amine. We call this as N, N, diethyl ethanamine. So this never reacts. Plus Hinsberg reagent, no reaction. No precipitate, no reaction, no precipitate. So in this way, you can observe once again, look at the board, Hinsberg reagent. It gives a white precipitate which is soluble in alkali when you take a 1 degree amine. And if you take a 2 degree amine, there also you will be getting a white precipitate, but this time that white precipitate is insoluble in alkali. And if you take a tertiary amine or a 3 degree amine, it never reacts with Hinsberg reagent. Now, electrophilic substitution reactions. Aniline undergoes electrophilic substitution reactions, and here it has 5 resonating structures, and being a powerful activating group, this NH2 group is ortho and para directing. And initially when aniline is treated with bromine water, a tri-substituted compound is produced. But in order to reduce the high activation, first of all, this aniline is treated with acetic anhydride or acetyl chloride, and it is converted into acetinolide, and then this acetinolide is treated with a particular reagent like bromine water or like a nitration mixture or sulfonation mixture. Then we'll be getting mono-substituted aniline compounds. So here we go. The first one is bromination. So when aniline is treated with bromine water, immediately you'll be getting a tri-substituted bromoaniline. What is that? So here bromination. I'm taking aniline, NH2, C6H5NH2. This is also called as, always I tell you, aniline or benzamine. You also call it as benzamine. This aniline is now, when it comes in contact with bromine water, aqueous. This bromine water is a reagent which is activating, which is, all the 3 areas of aniline gets activated. That is ortho as well as para position. The 2nd carbon, 4th carbon as well as 6th carbon, they get activated, and electrophilic substitution powerful electrophilic substitution reaction takes place. And here NH2, as I told you, 2 ortho positions and 1 para positions. So bromonium electrophiles come in contact and a tri-substituted bromoaniline is obtained. So we call this as 2, 4, 6 tri-bromoaniline. Okay, so here the electrophilic substitution is very high, and this NH2 group, amino group, is powerful activating group which activates electrophilic substitution reactions, and a tri-substituted compound is obtained. Now, if we want a mono-substituted bromoaniline like orthobromoaniline or para-bromoaniline, first of all, aniline is treated with acetic anhydride. It is converted to acetinolide. Then this acetinolide is treated with a bromine in the presence of carbon disulfide, but not with water. So here, in the presence of aqueous, that is bromine water, a tri-substituted bromoaniline is obtained. But if you want to get a mono-substituted bromoaniline, then bromine in CS2 is taken. Now, to obtain a para-bromoaniline or orthobromoaniline, first of all, as I told you, aniline is converted to acetinolide. What is this acetinolide? So again, I am taking aniline. The formula of aniline is C6H5NH2. This aniline is first treated with CH3CO twice O. We call this as acetic anhydride. Then you will be getting N, I am writing H here, C double bond O, CH3. This is called acetinolide, or you can also call this as N-phenyl ethanamide, or you call it as acetinolide. So here, first of all, it is converted like this, and then now this is treated with bromine. Electrophilic substitution reaction is done. But here, instead of water, I am taking an organic solvent like carbon disulfide, or I will be taking acetic acid. Here I took acetic anhydride, so I am taking CH3COOH, acetic acid. Then, when acetic acid is taken, here ortho position or para position, you will be getting a mono substituted compounds like NH, C double bond O, CH3, here bromine. So ortho-bromo-acetinolide, we call it as 2-bromo or ortho-bromo-acetinolide. And you also get a symmetric one, that is para-bromo-acetinolide. We call this as para-bromo, or you can also call it as 4-bromo acetinolide. Now we want only aniline, we don't want all that. So these molecules are treated with acidic catalyst or basic catalyst, such that this part is now removed. This part is removed in the form of CH3COOH, such that you will be getting 2-bromoaniline or 4-bromoaniline, such that you are getting here NH2 as usual I write, and here bromine plus NH2. So we call this as ortho-bromoaniline, and this is a para-bromoaniline. So this is how we'll be reducing the hyperactivation of amino group by treating it with acetic anhydride, converting aniline to acetinolide. Then acetinolide is will be performing electrophilic substitution reaction with acetinolide, such that you'll be getting desired mono-substituted compounds. Now, the second electrophilic substitution reaction being nitration. This nitration is also directed through acetinolide, because this aniline, when it comes in contact with nitration mixture, it undergoes protonation. Aniline is converted to anilinium ion, and anilinium ion is meta-directing. So because here direct nitration is avoided. If direct nitration is done, meta derivatives are obtained. Along with meta derivatives, some carry unwanted compounds are also produced. So direct nitration is avoided. So what do? Nitration is again, the activation of aniline is controlled again by converting aniline to acetinolide. Then that acetinolide is treated with nitration mixture. Then you will be getting para-nitroaniline or ortho-nitroaniline. So direct nitration gives you para forms, ortho forms, meta forms, as well as some terry compounds. So here, direct nitration, aniline C6H5NH2. If it is directly treated with nitration mixture, that is HNO3 and H2SO4, you know about that. So here what is happening, there are three compounds that are obtained. That is, you will be getting NH2, okay, nitroaniline, ortho-nitroaniline, you will be getting NH2, meta-nitroaniline, as well as para-nitroaniline, and some terry compounds. Terry compounds are unwanted compounds. They are poisonous compounds. And here para form is around 51%, but ortho form that is obtained is just 2%. And here around 48% of meta forms are obtained. So this direct nitration should be avoided, and this direct nitration is avoided by treating aniline with acetic anhydride, converting it into acetinolide. Because here, not only that, one more important reasoning question. This nitration mixture is giving you proton, and this proton comes in contact with the lone pair such that anilinium ion is produced. Anilinium ion is NH3+. Please everyone see, C6H5 NH3+. This is called anilinium. This is anilinium ion, which is meta-directing. This is meta-directing, but aniline is a para-directing. Aniline is an activating group, but anilinium is meta-directing, which is a deactivating. So direct nitration is avoided, and nitration is performed by converting aniline to acetinolide, and then acetinolide is treated with nitration mixture. So direct nitration is avoided by treating aniline with acetic anhydride. It is converted to acetinolide. Otherwise, as I told you, terry compounds and meta-directing meta derivatives are also obtained by direct nitration. So here we go. Aniline. Aniline is treated with pyridine first of all, such that acetinolide is obtained. So NH C double bond OCH3. We call this as acetinolide, or you also call it as N-phenyl ethanamide. This is acetinolide. Now this acetinolide is now treated with nitration mixture, as you know, HNO3 and sulfuric acid, concentrated sulfuric acid, such that nitro derivative, nitro group is introduced. Now you will be getting two nitro forms, two nitro anilines. First of all, C double bond OCH3. So we call this as ortho nitro acetinolide. In the same way, these are all the mono-substituted nitro acetinolides. First of all, acetinolides are produced, and then later these derivatives are treated with an acidic catalyst or basic catalyst, such that this part, that is CH3C double bond O part, that moiety is removed in the form of acetic acid, such that you will be getting mono-substituted nitroanilines. So along with ortho-nitroacetinolide, you will be getting para-nitroacetinolide. NH C double bond O CH3. So later these are treated with H plus or OH minus, that is an acid catalyst or basic catalyst, such that acetic acid is removed out, CH3COH, such that you will be getting again now the desired nitro derivatives, orthonitro-aniline and para-nitro-aniline. So remember, when a conversion is asked to convert aniline to nitroaniline, para-nitroaniline, you cannot perform nitration directly. You have to convert into acetonilide. Then those acetonilides are treated with nitration mixture. So here you go, this is orthonitro-aniline and this is para-nitro-aniline. Sulfonation is important electrophilic substitution reaction where aniline is treated with the sulfonation reagent, that is concentrated sulfuric acid with sulfur trioxide. We call it as oleum mixture. So an intermediate compound, namely anilinium hydrogen sulfate, is formed. That is again heated in the presence of sulfuric acid. Then you will be getting an amino acid, which we call it as para-amino benzene sulfonic acid or sulfonilic acid. And this sulfonilic acid is an amino acid which is amphoteric in nature, dipolar, which has two charges on either side, and it acts as an Zwitter ion. Here we go. So here aniline is treated with sulfonation mixture, that is H2SO4 plus SO3. Then you will be getting anilinium hydrogen sulfate. You can see H2SO4, H plus and HSO4 minus. You can split that. So is that NH3, here I'll be writing plus, and HSO4 minus. So this is called anilinium hydrogen sulfate. So this salt, intermediate salt, is still heated in the presence of an acid, and this is heated at 453 to 473 Kelvin. Then, so here elimination of water molecule is done, and here you are getting here SO3H. Sulfonic acid group is attached to one part and amino group is attached to another part. So remember, there is an acid group and an amino group. We call such type of organic compounds where both amino group and acid group are present as amino acids. We call them as amino acid. And the name of this amino acid is, you can see, para. So acid group is given more preference. Amino group becomes the substituent. Para amino benzene sulfonic acid. And this is also called as sulfonilic acid. So one of the usually asked question in CBSE board, convert aniline to sulfonilic acid. So this is the procedure. And now this sulfonilic acid is acting as a Zwitter ion. As I told you, it is amphoteric in nature. You can see this hydrogen is given because it is an acid group. It releases H plus. This acid group releases H plus, and this H plus comes in contact with the lone pair of electron, such that you will be getting here NH3, and as nitrogen's lone pair is used off, it gets a plus charge, and here SO3 minus. So here we call such type of amphoteric ions or a dipolar ion as Zwitter ion. And these Zwitter ions are amphoteric in nature. So this is what we call as sulfonation. I repeat again. Here aniline is treated with sulfonation mixture. Intermediate anilinium hydrogen sulfate is obtained. This is again heated in the presence of sulfuric acid. You will be getting sulfonilic acid. And this sulfonilic acid is an amino acid which also gives us Zwitter ion. And then coming to Friedel-Crafts alkylation and acetylation, here these aniline does not undergo Friedel-Crafts electrophilic substitution reactions, because here anhydrous aluminium chloride is a Lewis acid, and aniline being a Lewis base, they form a salt. So Friedel-Crafts alkylation and acetylation are not possible electrophilic substitution reactions. So here we go. These are the chemical properties of amines, starting with basic character, and then we went on with alkylation, acetylation. Then we discussed about carbylamine test, nitrous acid test, Hinsberg reagent, and then electrophilic substitution reactions involve bromination, nitration, and sulfonation. So I ask all children to make a flow chart and practice.